Robert Pattinson confirmed to star as Batman in 2021. That is the headline on this week's MBE Heroes. And John, the headline is self-explanatory. We kind of knew this anyway. It was either going to be Robert Pattinson or Nicholas Hoult. It is obviously Robert Pattinson. It's been confirmed as the Cape Crusader in the 2021 Matt Reeves film.
Yes, Stephen, there'll be a lot of gnashing of teeth today. And previous to this, when it was also announced, because we're always kind of a pre-shooting for shows, so we've got our finger on the pulse, guys, but it just comes out a little bit later. But I digress, there'll be a lot of gnashing of teeth, Stephen, because people weren't happy that Robert Pattinson was up for this role, that he was potentially being cast in this role, because they thought he was just a pretty boy from the Twilight saga. And obviously he played Cedric Diggory in Harry Potter in the Goblet of Fire. I've always thought he was a pretty decent actor, Stephen. I've never really watched Twilight, wasn't my cup of tea. I liked him as Cedric in Harry Potter. He's been in a number of different roles. He's doing what all good actors do. They start off in some sort of a decent franchise, or perhaps just being typecast in a certain sort of a genre. Then they develop their skills and then they move out and branch out. We've seen it with Leonardo DiCaprio, we've seen it with a whole host of different actors, McConaughey, and we've seen it with Pattinson. He's starting to go out and do different roles and test what his range is. I think this is a great casting choice.
John, I think as well, you hit the nail on the head. Robert Pattinson has to, especially when he was in the Twilight saga as well, he has to portray himself a certain way, he has to act a certain way for that fan base. You've seen it yourself with the likes of Leonardo DiCaprio, Ryan Reynolds as well. When they all started out, they were doing rom-coms, etc. They had to behave a certain way. We didn't really get to see the proper side of these actors till they branched out, but as you said, I think it's going to be the same for Robert Pattinson. I think once the ball's rolling on production for this movie, you're going to see him doing interviews. You're going to see the real him. I think you're going to see a different side to him as well. He's not got dare I say it, like this teen fan base to please now. So I think it's a good thing. Also, I think this is actually a combined article. There's a couple of articles, but it's sort of leading to the same thing here, John, in regards to Matt Reeves. Maybe in his head at the moment, certainly it's not anything on paper, there could be a potential the Batman trilogy as well. I'd be
delighted to see that, Stephen. More Batman for me is always a good thing. He's one of my favourite superhero characters. I was saying it to you, Stephen, before we come on, despite wearing a Marvel hoodie here, first and foremost a fan of the DC characters. I feel like, and I've always felt like, they have the best characters of the two competing comic book sort of runs and books, obviously. Because it's a comic book, so it's a book, John. That's a silly thing to say. But I digress, Stephen. They have got the best characters. The likes of Superman, Batman. Obviously Aquaman was a joke, but he's been rejuvenated. The likes of the Flash. So I'm absolutely delighted. I love Batman. I've always enjoyed the likes of Tim Burton's take on it, the Christopher Nolan take. It was just a shame we didn't get more Ben Affleck, because the guy was really invested in the character, big fan of it, so much so he has his own Batcave and his sort of a house. So getting to see Matt Reeves delve into this more detective side of the character, going down this slightly different route, perhaps fleshing out this multi-arc story with perhaps Catwoman, with the Penguin, may even see another version of the Joker coming in, which is better, and obviously that god-awful Jared Leto one. So I'm well up for it. I'm very intrigued. I liked what I heard from Matt Reeves, his vision he had for the character and the story, doing something different, focusing more on, as I did say, the detective side and less of the brute force and just getting out and grunting and deepening his voice when he puts on the mask and whatnot. Just more cerebral. He's meant to be a great detective, and harnessing those talents and bringing in good antagonists which will test him to the absolute limit. And he's that young, Stephen. Robert Pattinson is that young that he can do.
I was going to say that, John.
Sorry about that.
No, listen, you're absolutely right. I think they're going back to the sort of old template of Bruce Wayne that we're used to seeing in on film. But that's not to say I didn't like Ben Affleck's portrayal of the character, the sort of older version of Bruce Wayne. He's already lived a life playing Batman, that we didn't see. Obviously, it was off screen. We saw some callbacks to some tragedy. You saw that, I think it was Robin. I'm not sure if it was Nightwing or Robin, that suit, and it had a ha 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 sprayed across it. Clearly, he got a history with the Joker.
Could have been Robin.
obviously, you know, they're going back to, you know, having Bruce Wayne in that sort of early 30s, you know, to mid 30s again, which isn't a bad thing. But I'm looking forward to it. He's one of my favourite comic book heroes as well. Probably, if not my favourite. But if there's going to be one film or 3 films, bring it on.
Yes.
I think obviously Matt Reeves did say in some interview that he's going to wait until obviously how the first film performs. But certainly it's good to hear that it is in his head and he is considering it.
Yes, Stephen, well, people have also been criticising the likes of Warner Brothers and DC for rushing into stories and trying to do things too quickly to hang on to the coattails of Marvel and the MCU, whereas they don't have to do that. They can set up their own characters, their own worlds, universe, at their own rate. They can do it at their own leisure. They don't have to rush things and try and be the next Avengers. People are fans of DC as well as Marvel, and you've got your whole dedicated DC fan base who hate Marvel, and they're quite happy to have a slow burn like we had with the MCU for 10 years, 7 years, 8 years, doesn't matter how long it is. And if that involves more Man of Steel films, more perhaps a trilogy of Batman films, more Wonder Woman, more Aquaman, then I'm absolutely on board for it.
As well,
and Shazam as well, because I really enjoyed that. There's talk that Stephen that could not get a sequel. That might not be getting a sequel, I should say, which would be a real shame, because I thought that was a fantastic story. I really like Zachary Levi's take. But look, just briefly touching on these movies, Stephen, they're saying that fans of Batman should watch to set themselves up and get themselves all marinated for a potential Robert Pattinson Batman movie. Well, it's not potential, it's confirmed, it's coming now. But they're saying The Rover from 2014, it's a dystopian thriller. He's played by Guy Pearce, and he's in this. Obviously, it's David Michôd's dystopian thriller. He plays a sick puppy, dangerous and despondent. So this is a dependent. That's showing you the guy, is, as I said before, Stephen, at the start, expanding out in his roles. The Lost City of Z, that was a great film from a couple of years ago, Stephen. Really did expand him and test him. And then you've got the likes of Good Time and Damsel. So this is a guy, high life as well. And you just look at the photographs alone, Stephen. If you haven't seen the movies, you can just look and see this is a guy that's really testing the boundaries of what he can do as an actor. He's going out and try to become a better, more rounded actor. We've seen it with Zac Efron as well. I think that guy thoroughly deserves a shot at a big sort of a superhero role, and I think that will come in time. He may be playing Adam Warlock, perhaps.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. So, Stephen, I digress. I'm gibbering on a tangent. Really happy to see the guy getting his chance. Hopefully it's a real success. I personally would have still preferred John Hamm. He was my perfect choice. But look, Matt Reeves is a guy, he's got his vision for a trilogy of stories, potentially. And this is a guy he's picked. He also wants to keep the character young and have it develop, much like we've seen with Christian Bale in the Dark Knight trilogy.
John. And the other thing is, I know it's not the most important thing when you're casting an actor in a well-established role, is the look of them. It shouldn't really be taken into consideration. It should be how they perform as an actor. But Robert Pattinson does have all the trademarks of Bruce Wayne. He's got the height, the
he's
frame.
6 foot, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Tall chap.
Exactly.
Good
that's what I'm
jawline.
gonna say. Yeah, exactly.
Fits perfectly into that helmet.
We're going to keep on this topic of Batman, John. This is a headline that came in from it's various ones, because we're obviously celebrating 30 years of Tim Burton's Batman. This is the headline: Tim Burton's Batman radically changed the superhero movie landscape 30 years ago. It's an interesting read. One of the things that stood out to me was that paragraph that said the film industry, like much of society at large, still viewed comic books as simply kid stuff. But us, Lynn, saw a path forward. If we do it as dark and serious movie, it will almost be like a brand new form of entertainment. I think he's hit the nail on the head with that statement, because it wasn't that long ago. It was 30 years ago, but Batman's celebrating 80 years, I think, since its creation, his creation. So it took 50 years to get the proper...
Away from the campiness.
Away from the Adam West stuff. I'm not taking anything away from Adam West, and that it was entertaining for what it was. But it took them 50 years to get this onto the big screen in the sort of the way that we
really
all dreamed of it, this sort of The Dark Knight. I still hold the film in regard as well as a game changer, certainly for comic book genre. I always remember, very much like Robert Pattinson, which we were talking about, John, the reaction. Maybe not as much. I think a lot of people have learnt a lesson to keep their mouth shut now and wait till they actually see the film, but maybe not. But back in the day, before social media, I do remember the backlash when Michael Keaton was, obviously, what's the word? Cast.
I'm looking at that window.
Batman's coming in the window. Yeah. When he was cast as Bruce Wayne and Batman, there was this backlash because up to that point, Michael Keaton, the year before, probably in his most famous role at that point was Beetlejuice. I think the Dream Team had still to come out. I think maybe that was the year after as well. I'm not sure. I think
it was 1990.
I think it was. I can't remember that. It's such a long time ago. But
I need to search that one up.
I remember the backlash of that as well, John.
Yep.
Jack Nicholson was just born to play the Joker at this point in his career as well. I thought his portrayal of Jack Napier was fantastic. Tim Burton kind of switched things about as well in 1989. The same year.
Yep.
Tim Burton changed some of the origins of how Batman became, how the Joker became. It wasn't going to be Joe Chill. It was going to be murdering the parents. It was going to be, you said, John, Jack Napier. But the film still holds up in a certain way. It's obviously dated. Some of the CG and stuff like that's dated now. But the actual mood of the movie, the tone, and the sheer look of it, I always remember that first time seeing Michael Keaton in that suit. It was the first time I'd ever seen that. We're all used to that kind of blue-grey tight thing that Adam West wore with the big yellow belt.
Yeah, the gold belt, yeah.
And the tights and stuff like that, and the kind of ears just didn't stand up, right? They kind of flopped down. They were tiny little ears because they were made of...
I think they
were made of velvet or something like that.
I think of Homer Fools.
Yeah. Exactly. So when I saw that suit, just totally blew my mind. And as I said, I think this article kind of nails it. It was a game changer, and I think since then, I think comic book as a genre has been taken more serious.
Yeah, Stephen, my favourite part of this is actually the little sub-headline, where it says, the film's rollercoaster evolution from finding producers to winning over wary comic fans spanned the entire Reagan presidency.
Yeah.
An entire presidency, man. It took 10 years, I think, to really convince studio executives and whatnot to make this film actually happen. One says, one industry executive told him Batman was as dead as a dodo, or as the dodo.
But I don't think he was
like
wrong.
The Beatles thing again.
Yeah, but I don't think he was wrong at that stage,
No,
John. They just didn't have the foresight to see the
John
potential.
C. Reilly doubles kicking about as Captain America. So
yeah,
that was the state of superhero movies at that time. That Spider-Man one that you went to see in the cinema, the only real superhero movie or franchise at that time which was being taken serious to an extent was Superman.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve. Yeah. This was a game changer, Stephen. It really was. The darkness of it, the combination of the campiness and just the more serious tone, which you always get in a Tim Burton movie. It's got that element in it.
I think The Quest for Peace was already out 2 years before this, John.
Yeah, so it was on a downward spiral. Yeah, in fact, it was nosediving.
Yeah, it was definitely a cliff edge, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was crashed into the ocean and gone to the fiery depths of the ocean. The Pacific Ocean, as deep as it could go.
And I think at that point, I didn't want to see a Superman 5. I was actually saying, stop, don't do it, the people.
Yeah, stop, don't do it. The people.
Yeah.
And the claws and space battles and space curtains.
But it kind of emphasises Tim Burton's job.
It shows you what he did, Stephen. The job he had, being able to convince superhero executives to make superhero movies.
They are superheroes.
Yeah, to make superhero movies in this landscape. It was incredible what he did. And once he finally got the blessing and was able to go out and make the movie, Stephen, an utterly iconic movie with at least two fantastic performances from Jack Nicholson and also Michael Keaton, as you did say. Michael Keaton, not your traditional sort of a Bruce Wayne guy, only 5'9.5", 5'10". He's not 6'1"-ish, but he really did take that role on. They done a fantastic job with it. Probably still one of the best to this day. I'd have him second behind Christian Bale for me as the second best. Jack Napier, obviously the Joker. Jack Nicholson, iconic performance. Only really surpassed by Heath Ledger in terms of superhero movies and antagonists, I would say. Really one of the best Batman movies of all time, and it did change the landscape of superhero movies, not just for Batman but for every movie that was to come. Stephen, we wouldn't have an MCU, we wouldn't have had those great Spider-Man movies from the early 2000s if it wasn't for what Tim Burton did with Batman.
But we did have a Batman and Robin, thanks to it.
Yeah, Yeah, you can't blame Tim for that. Jesus Christ.
He was attached from it at that point anyway, John.
Yeah, he changed the game and then they decided to try and get back to the Adam West sort of a nonsense with a sort of a darker setting. Didn't work.
No.
But look, 30 years ago, I can't believe it. I'm 30.
Yeah.
I've seen this movie numerous times. I mind watching them when I was very young, Stephen. Perhaps shouldn't have been watching them. I remember watching Batman Returns with obviously Danny DeVito
and Michelle
Pfeiffer and being terrorised by the Penguin when I was a young guy. But look, that shaped me, shaped my love of a character. And as I did say, Batman is one of my all-time favourite characters. So, what more can you say? Game changer, absolutely right.
Yeah. We'll move on, John, now to something that came in from Cinema Blend midweek. It's the headlines: Fox almost made a Marvel crossover movie starring the X-Men, Fantastic Four and more. The more was obviously Daredevil and Deadpool. We said this prior to coming on air, John. I'm glad they didn't. I just, Deadpool in the X-Men world does work. Daredevil to me was always I think I said this maybe about a month ago, it was more sort of ground level, street level superhero. And then just went off. I just couldn't see him in a Fantastic Four X-Men Deadpool film. And I don't mean that. I loved the television series Daredevil, but he was in and amongst sort of similar level superheroes.
Yeah, apart from obviously, what's his face? Kingpin. He was a really big villain. He's traditionally a Spider-Man villain, I think, which was strange. I never did quite understand why you would put that character in a TV show like that and totally underutilise him and not give him a fitting conclusion and then cancel the show after you could give him a fitting conclusion. I digress though, Stephen, it's not about Daredevil. What is, to an extent, just not that TV show on Netflix.
No.
What would I have made of this? I wouldn't want to have seen it happen, Stephen.
No.
I'm glad it never happened. But by all accounts, the chap who's been speaking about it, Zach Stentz, who co-wrote both X-Men First Class and 4, it says that it was a great little script they had. It was a really cool, freaking script, he says. They almost had Paul Greengrass directing it, so that would have been a big positive, I have to say, if they could have got Greengrass in. Superb.
This was director. Back in 2011, wasn't it?
Back in 2011, Stephen, when they still had a whole host of different Marvel characters. Fox, they had the likes of Fantastic Four, as you did say, Daredevil, Deadpool. Now, how would this have worked, Stephen? Would we have had Chris Evans as Fantastic Four?
Who knows?
With Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, mixing in with the likes of Patrick Stewart and obviously Ian McKellen's X-Men, or would this have been...
2011 would have been...
No, that would have been James McAvoy in Fassbender.
First Class, it would have been the
cast.
That
slightly changes my mind, slightly. Perhaps seeing a big ensemble superhero movie with McAvoy, Fassbender, Lawrence and the likes of perhaps a Schreiber in a better movie.
Yeah, the reason I say I'm glad it never happened is because I actually liked the way it turned out. I think Ryan Reynolds was always going to play Deadpool. It's just one of those guys that loved the character and was determined that he was going to be the one playing him. A better version of him, obviously, than the one we saw in that Wolverine film. You're right. Fantastic Four, would Chris Evans...
could have been.
2011, Captain America, the First Avenger was out that year, I think, was it?
It was round about then, Stephen. I'd have to look, but it was very close,
so
you probably wouldn't have...
It might have been a reboot of the Fantastic Four at that point, with, a different
First
cast.
Avenger was out in 2011, so it wouldn't have been...
That would have been
Evans.
Weird, to have him in the sort of Fox universe and the Marvel universe.
So they would have had to have recast.
Yeah.
Probably not then.
But as I said, that it's not that the idea itself isn't a bad idea, John. I like the way things have turned out. I like the way, especially the first Deadpool came out. It was one of my favourite films of the past 5-6 years. Daredevil went on to become a Netflix series, a very successful Netflix series, probably the best out of the bunch.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Sadly, the Fantastic Four just keeps failing. We were talking about it last week, how they may introduce Ben Grimm, the character, into the Black Widow film. So I like that kind of idea that they might intersperse these characters in different films in different time periods, and we get used to them before they unite to become the Fantastic Four, John. So it's an interesting article. It's very interesting to see that Paul Greengrass was also connected with this potential film as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if we were maybe ready for that, because we were only getting used to the Marvel Cinematic Universe at this point. Another universe, I don't know if I would have liked that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Steve, the only other thing I would add is that it's perhaps for the best that it didn't happen, because we would then have comparisons and the monkey on the back potentially for Disney taking on these characters, Fantastic Four, the likes of Daredevil potentially, the X-Men, and doing them in a cinematic universe, or perhaps introducing them into the MCU, which is probably what they will do. They'll not have separate cinematic universes. That wouldn't work. So that's another thing which is a positive for it not happening. It opens up Disney just have been free, expectation free, burden free. They can just introduce it, and then people will enjoy it for the first time, seeing all these great characters coming together in an ensemble piece. And as you did say, we wouldn't have got Daredevil on the TV show if that had happened. More than likely, we wouldn't have got the great Ryan Reynolds proper Deadpool. So all ended well in the end.
I think so. But listen, John, we'll move on because I know time is pressing. We've got 2 more articles to get through in 7 minutes. So the first one is James McAvoy explains why X-Men Dark Phoenix ending had to be reshot. Now, I wasn't aware just how much this was having to be...
It's like in fabric there, Stephen. That is wanting to kill you, that curtain.
It's really Batman's Kate, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it wants to kill you.
Yeah, could be that Terminator film, that horrible CG. But listen, this is James McAvoy saying that, you know, the film had to be, or the ending had to be reshot because it did parallel another superhero movie. Now, we've talked about this at great length before we came on air, John, because it started racking our brains for the timing of the writing of the Dark Phoenix movie, the pre-production schedule, and what superhero films were out at that point, and we came down to 2 films.
Oh, technically it could be 3.
3 films.
Could be 3.
The ones that it's 2. I think the 2 films that he might be talking about is either Glass or Ragnarok. Or it
could be Captain Marvel. Or, if you're going back, you could perhaps fit in a 4th. If the writing took place in 2016, it could be Guardians Volume 2 as well. But I think primarily, Stephen, I think you says it could be Ragnarok, and I actually think it could be Ragnarok, just because of the nature of the story. You've got this rogue sort of a character coming. In Ragnarok's case, it was Hela. She comes out of nowhere, takes over the place and casts out the traditional heroic figures, in this case Thor and Loki. Not so heroic Loki, but the cast these sort of the high standing members of Asgard, they are thrown away. She takes over and starts ruling with an iron fist. In X-Men Dark Phoenix, it would be Jean Grey going all Dark Phoenix and casting out the likes of Magneto, Xavier, and just Mystique and whatnot. And then just the sacrifice that obviously Thor and Loki have to make. They have to give up Asgard, team together, traditional foes team together and break and destroy their home planet, which they love, their home world, to take down the Hela character. I think this could be Ragnarok, Stephen, because it's obviously Jean Grey. They all have to band together. Magneto and Xavier finally have to band together one last time, and maybe one big sacrifice to end Dark Phoenix.
It makes sense, John. I think you're absolutely right. I'm more swaying to Ragnarok the more I think about it. But listen, we'll move on to the next article just because time is cracking on here. But this is an article that did come in, I think it's on various platforms actually. It's filming for the first MCU Phase 4 movie is already underway now. Apparently Scarlett Johansson, I don't know if she's aware of this, but apparently she is filming in Norway. They caught her on, there's a YouTube clip of her coming out of the local shop.
A fish shop.
Yeah, is it a fish shop?
Right. Well, there's fish
I thought she was going in for her carry out. That's obviously her
well, it may not be a fish shop, but there's a whole variety of fish diagrams on the side of the shop.
So we watched the video, and I think both of us agreed that it doesn't look anything like her. But then we thought, with her height, you checked her height out, 5'3", that maybe the lady in this video is 5'3", but it doesn't look like her at all. It just doesn't. I don't think her face doesn't look like a face.
Yeah, she looks like Kate Blanchett from Ragnarok. She looks like Hela with ginger hair.
Yeah.
It's all very strange. Certainly the bald, Stephen, and the stature could be Scarlett Johansson. I says I didn't think it was her prime. Firstly, because I thought too small. I thought Scarlett Johansson was a bit taller than that, but no, she is a bit small. She's kind of a dwarfish. So it could be her, but it doesn't really look like her, Stephen. But look, by all accounts, the filming has started, and it has started in Norway, because we do see some more surroundings, and we've got something in perhaps Norwegian.
Like Blue Bayou, it's like the Roy Orbison.
Yeah, Blue Bayou, yeah. So there's some sign, and we've got a lot of sort of officials and high vises and whatnot guarding this place that they're doing the filming in. So
one thing,
it's good to have started at Kumbaya.
One thing, I mean, they're saying that they've already learned a few plot details for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It definitely isn't not that, because James Gunn is very busy with the Suicide Squad film. Doctor Strange too, they have to have been very tight-lipped about that, because we've not heard a thing about this movie yet, apart from it's going to come out at some point. The other thing as well is, I think Marvel are waiting until Spider-Man Far From Home film is out the way before they do their whole press thing for Phase 4.
I really can't wait to see it.
I know there's been some pictures online. I don't know if you've seen some of some of the titles look terrible.
Yeah, the graphics are amazing, but the titles are just god awful.
Which we will get into. I think maybe next week we'll talk about that screenshot and we can get into that, John, because I think it's quite interesting.
It is interesting, yeah.
But I think it's probably I think it's going to be a Black Widow film, John, because it makes sense. I think on the back of Endgame, we want to see this character once more. I'm saying once more, it is a prequel. There's room for obviously potential follow-ups to this film if it is successful. Great character as well, Scarlett Johansson portraying the character, especially in Endgame. We finally got to see her a different side to her. It's just a shame that how things turned out in that movie for the character. But I think it's going to be that movie. But listen, that just brings us to the end of this week's show. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us, and we will be back again tomorrow with MBE Movie News.